This week's Kriyas Torah contains within it the famous rebellion that Korach leads against the Jewish people, against Moshe Rabbeinu. And it's a startling story on many levels. Most obvious is, how could it be that Korach would challenge Moshe? Korach surely recognized the greatness of Moshe. Moshe was Av Nevi'im, father of all the prophets. He was the one who transmitted the Torah directly from Hashem to the Jewish people. Moshe communicated Baspaklaria Hami'ira. He was able to, so to speak, initiate a conversation with Hashem. Moshe Rabbeinu was the one who took the Jewish people out of Egypt, crossed them through the Yam Suf, brought them through the wilderness. When Hashem wanted to destroy them after the Egel Azav, Moshe Rabbeinu stood up for them. And Korach was not a simple man. Korach was not a fool. Korach is described as a pikeach, as a clever man, as a chacham gadol, as a sage man. He was one of the people who was nosei ha'aron. He carried the ark. So how could Korach have made such a terrible mistake? Rashi, basing himself on the Medrash Tanchuma, gives us the impression that Korach had Ruach HaKodesh, and he saw what great descendants would come from him. You saw Shmuel HaNavi. Shmuel is considered to be compared to Moshe and Aaron. So if Shmuel is coming from him, then certainly he himself is a person of greatness and deserves to be in a position of prominence. And he made a terrible mistake. It resulted in the fact that he died what we call a Misa Mishuna, a horrible, unnatural death. Okay, one explanation. But there's more to the story, perhaps. It lies at the very beginning of the Parsha. Vayikach Korach, and Korach took. The Gemara tells us in Sukkah and Daf Min Beis, Amr Shmidman ben Lakish. Shmidman ben Lakish says, B'chol yom v'yom, every single day, Skabla of Yitro, a person's evil inclination rises up against a person and is mevakesh lahamiso, and seeks to cause him to die. As the pasuk says, Sofer Rasha latzadik v'chofetz lahamiso, that the wicked person gazes upon the righteous person and seeks to kill him. Rabbi Yisrael Salanter understands that it's not, this pasuk is not telling us that the wicked person looks at a righteous person. No, what it means is that many people are righteous on the outside, externally, superficially, and people do things that are good and proper. But internally, a person's subconscious, a person's true inclination, sometimes is evil. So for Rasha Latzadik, the wicked person within every person looks at the righteous part of the person, the Chafetz Lamiso, and wants to kill that part of the person. The evil inclination says, I don't want that person to be righteous. And truthfully, it's with divine assistance that we're able to overcome the Yetzer Hara. But it's not guaranteed. We have a concept that somebody wants to become impure, somebody wants to connect with that which is evil. Opportunities are provided to such a person. By contrast, somebody wants to purify oneself, Habalatayar Messiah also. A person wants to purify himself, so such a person is assisted. So how is it that sometimes people are on the path of becoming pure, and sometimes they're, heaven forbid, on the path to become impure? The answer, of course, lies within a person's own mind. What is it that a person seeks in life? And how does a person go about seeking? How does a person search for the truth? if a person consults with others, Ushua Barov Yoetz, Shlomo Melech writes, salvation comes with abundant consultation. But if a person has it all figured out and knows all the answers, they never really understood the questions. And such a person is going to make a terrible mistake. A terrible mistake. The same Gemara tells us, in Pagaba Oso Menovo, if that disgusting entity, the Yetzer Hara, accosts you, Moshcheu Beis HaMedrash, drag him to the house of study, drag him to the Beis HaMedrash. What does the Gemara mean? So yes, on some level one could say that it means a person goes to the Beis HaMedrash, a person studies Torah, so that'll make a person more righteous, more holy, have the proper perspectives, for sure. But when a person goes to the Beis HaMedrash, when a person goes to the house of study, and a person analyzes a sugya, looks at a topic in depth, so then a person has to figure out, okay, who's right, Abaye or Rava? Which svar in the Rishonim makes more sense? Which Achron has the right approach? So that process of evaluating, of refining, that's something that comes from the Beis HaMedrash. And when a person wants to take a stance, like Korach did, if he would have spent more time in the Beis HaMedrash, if he would have recognized that it's so important to evaluate, perhaps he would have come to a different conclusion. We've all been spending a lot of time in isolation, in quarantine. We're slowly getting out of it. We still have to be, I think, very careful. We have to be very much on guard. And one of the perhaps side effects of spending so much time by ourselves, alone in quarantine, is that we have not had the opportunity to perhaps talk to others as much as we normally would, as to engage with others, especially those who look at things differently than we do. And it's important as we begin the slow process of reemergence to make sure that our opinions in every area of life take into account the views of others, that we really think about how others are experiencing things. We ask ourselves, why am I doing something? Am I motivated, heaven forbid, by petty jealousy, by desire, by the search for honor? Or am I really 100% l'shem shamayim for the sake of heaven? Korach was a great man. He was a pikeach. He was clever. He was a chacham gadol. He carried the Aron. And look what a devastating mistake he made. Because he didn't properly consider. Because he didn't properly listen to others. Let us learn from Korach's mistake. Let us try with sympathy, with empathy, with compassion, with genuine understanding to listen and appreciate what others have to say. And hopefully Hashem will hear us as we express our true request for the ultimate redemption. May it come b'meher v'yameinu. Amen.